Well, first, I just would like to say that, by design, a lot of these things were placed in our community. Like we've been through a heck of a 500-year journey,
Mm-hmm.
and just like if people were playing the game of Monopoly, constantly running around, and you're not moving at all, and wealth is being built on the back.
We have the Entrepreneur Masterclass coming up. That's coming up very soon in the beginning of November with Dame Dash. That's music mogul and entrepreneur mogul Dame Dash, who actually won the first annual Forbidden Conscious Award for Entrepreneur of the Year. So you don't want to miss that. All right. So that's going to be at the beginning of November, and it's going to be an amazing entrepreneur workshop. And what's special about this workshop, we're going to handpick specific people who bought tickets and have them come sit down directly in front of us and speak to us about their business idea. So go to eventbrite.com. Again, eventbrite.com, and search for Billy Carson, and all the workshops will pop up. And make sure you register for the Entrepreneur Masterclass taught by Dame Dash and Billy Carson coming up at the beginning of November. You don't want to miss it. If you've ever wanted to build a business, start a business, or build on what you already have, you want to know the secrets to building a business in a way that you've never been taught before.
Good job.
You're not going to get this as an MBA. You're not going to get this in business school. You're only going to get this on Forbidden Knowledge TV. So make sure you go to eventbrite.com and register ASAP. Entrepreneur Masterclass. I want to see you there. All right. So, Zeke, you had a great thought. Let's go back to it. We're talking about, you said, we've been, 500 years ago, things were put in place to put our communities in the situation they are now.
Yeah. Even when we talk about equality, the whole conversation, it's hard for me to even you can't say equality in all humans, especially for, Black people, particularly when we talk about here in America and the things that, we've been previewed to in the past, the lack of wealth that was able to be applied. I always tell people, we talk about generations, they consider a generation every 30 years or so. So just think of all the generational wealth that was built, over these 300-400 years. And we just start to be able to even have skin in the game, when the Civil Rights Act passed, and, back in the 60s, and, we only 2 or 3 generations in of even having opportunity to even talk about, wealth building and, putting ourselves in a position of where, we're able to be more than just workers. Our people we were never brought here to be in an equal state. We were brought here to be workers and builders and, work for free. This country was built on the back of free labor.
Absolutely.
And that's just the fact. So even when we talk about things like reparations, and when we get in those conversations for people to say that nothing is owed, I always think like that's a wild thing to say when everything was stole. So, for us, equality and things of that nature, we understand the things that happened in the past. So what we really need to do now that we have this understanding, because I feel like there's 2 sides of the coin with this. I feel like sometimes we can look too much in the past, and hold our head down and saying, okay, well, we were treated like this. This is what it is, and yada yada. Opposed to, we do a lot of the system, the government, and rightfully so.